hello. And I would like to welcome you back to A Seat at the Table. And I am excited today because we have Miss Lois Martin. And I am not even going to tell you what she do. I'm going to let her tell you what she does. And then I'll go ahead and talk after that. But thank you so much for joining us, Miss Lois. And welcome to A Seat at the Table. And please tell me and our viewers, what is it that you do?
Well, my business is called Made to Order by Lois, and I am a seamstress. I specialize in alterations. I make your clothes fit like they were made to order for you. I don't make garments for people. It's an industry that has a lot of limitations, and mostly the limitations are people expect custom-made garments at Walmart prices.
Right.
And sourcing fabrics anymore is a very difficult thing because they're the local shops. Most of them have closed. And unfortunately, our fabrics and our fashion has been shipped overseas. And so the quality and the fashions that we expect, you can't get that from a custom sewing room. So I alter garments. I alter everything from blue jeans to bridal gowns. But most of my business, probably 90% of it, is altering wedding gowns, bridesmaids' dresses, mother of the bride, that type of thing. And some of them are as simple as shortening them from remaking them. I can do just about anything you can come up with. I may not exactly know how to do it when you say, can you do that? But I investigate, I do research. I have a community online that does a lot of alterations that we talk to one another about. How would you do this? Where do you get your sources? That kind of stuff. For, everybody's like, oh, well, just go, used to be go to Joann's and get fabrics. Well, they quit carrying a lot of dress up fabrics, but then things like bonings, bra cups, shoulder pads, that kind of thing, you can't buy those in a store anymore. You have to order everything online, which I'm one of those people that wants to touch it. So you need to know who your suppliers are to get good quality stuff.
Yeah. I think that's amazing, number one, because that's a talent that not many people have, sewing, period, you know?
Right.
I know you came from a generation that they taught that in school, coming up.
Right.
Because I talked to my aunt. She's like, well, yeah, in school, they used to teach us how to sew and do everything. When did you discover your passion for even sewing or even transitioning to alterations?
Well, it's kind of a convoluted story. I am a third generation seamstress.
Okay.
So my mother taught me to sew. When I was 11 years old, my parents gave me my first sewing machine for Christmas.
Wow. Okay.
And so I've had my own sewing machine for over 50 years. I think this is my fourth one since then. Okay. Sewing machines now don't last as long as they did a long time ago because they're computerized. And if a motherboard goes, you have to replace the machine because they're so expensive.
Wow. But
my mother taught me basic sewing skills. And when I was a teenager and on up into my 20s, I was making my own clothes. But it got where it was cheaper to buy stuff in the store, and I didn't have time. And then, but I've always dabbled in it. I don't like doing home decor. People contact me and say, oh, will you make pillows or slipcover? No, I don't even like to do that for myself.
Yeah.
I don't have the space, because making curtains, you need a lot of space to lay everything out and measure it and make sure it's square. And that's just a stress. Give me a heavily beaded silk wedding gown, and I would much rather work on that than a pair of curtains. And so I've done a lot of things over the years. When we moved to Augusta 9 years ago, I had been a Pampered Chef consultant for 13 years and loved that I did that. But after having moved several times and having to restart my business and all of the stuff it produces, we didn't have room in this house for it. But when we bought a house, I wanted a room for a sewing room so that I could have a project out and not have to move it off of the kitchen table. So this became my space. And at first, we talked about what I was going to do because we need the extra income. I hadn't worked for anybody else since in the late 80s.
Okay.
I had been my own boss doing a number
Pampered
of
stuff?
things.
Okay.
I did Pampered Chef. When my husband was in school, I did sewing on the side and worked part-time and those kinds of things. But I always had that skill. I think everybody should know how to sew a button on and hem a pair of pants.
Mm-hmm.
But the schools have cut out all of those practical skills to focus on things that a kid can't live on, to me, which is sports.
Mm-hmm.
Not that sports are a bad thing, but those that don't play sports, and how many of those high school athletes are going to make a living off of it.
Exactly, yes.
But being able to cook and sew and balance a checkbook, although the current generation doesn't use them, I think the schools need to get back to that because there is a generation that no longer knows how to do it. So this is the second generation coming up that doesn't know how to sew a button on, which is a skill. So I do teach sewing lessons. If somebody contacts me and say, hey, I'd like to learn how to sew, I do teach sewing lessons. I don't get the opportunity very often. And sometimes they want to learn how to make something from scratch, or they want to learn how to alter something they've thrifted. And in this day and age of throwing clothes away when you're tired of them, being able to thrift and alter is a great thing. In fact, I'm working on something today. I have a really sweet friend that's a client of mine that often buys clothing secondhand, high-end clothing that she then brings to me and it's like, okay, you know how I am about sleeves, or you know how I am about this or that. And I alter her clothes and she still gets very high-end clothing for way less than she would have buying it new.
Yeah.
So I have been trained how to alter tailored clothes, men's suits, but a lot of men don't wear suits anymore. But I do know how to take a man's sport coat and make it fit. Sleeves are too long, it wrinkles across the back. I've been trained to take the skills that I have and look at something and go, that needs to be altered here because of the way the wrinkles go.
Right.
They go this, they always point towards where the problem is. And I kind of fell into that I am kind of a bridal specialist because once the word gets out that you do that, there are very few people that do alterations that will touch wedding gowns. We take on a huge risk personally when you work on a wedding gown. You're working on something that's for a one-of-a-kind, one-time event.
Yes.
And there are times when I'm working on a dress, if I actually thought about how much they paid for the dress, I wouldn't work on it because there's not enough money in my bank account to replace it.
We would have to sign some type of contract. I am not responsible for anything that happens.
Well, I am responsible for the work I do. And I am a licensed business and I do carry liability insurance. Should something happen to your clothes in my home, that's not the fault of me.
Right.
Things like hurricanes that never happen in Augusta or fire or theft, that's not covered under homeowners insurance because I'm a licensed business. So I carry separate liability insurance. But if I cut something too short, that's on me.
Yeah.
So measure twice, cut once. They say that when you're a carpenter, measure twice, cut once. Well, that's what we say in the sewing industry as well. Because once you cut it off, it is rare you can put it back.
Yeah.
Yes. And so people found out I would do wedding gowns. And so my business is done solely through word of mouth or when people on Facebook, I'm in several bridal groups just to be able to be out there and say, hey, I do it in the Augusta area. And, I offer the service. If you want to come see me and talk to me about what your dress needs, I'm not going to charge you for that. And a lot of places charge for a consult. That's something I don't do because my business is more about making sure the bride is comfortable with my experience and what she needs to be done. I am the first one to say that's beyond my skill level. But I have learned a lot in doing this. The main thing, my mother taught me a lot of these skills. The main thing she said was when you're working on something, leave one side the way it was when it came to you so that when you take the other side apart, you have something to look at to make sure you put it back the same way. So if I'm taking the sleeve out of something, I don't take them both out. I leave one in until the other one is all done and back in.
Mm-hmm.
And I will often have a bride come back for a fitting before it's all done
Mm-hmm.
to make sure what I have adjusted is what she wants and that it fits right.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to go in and redo before it's all put back together than to start over again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't like doing my work twice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I enjoy working on bridal gowns. It's just really fun to have a bride put a dress on and have that look on her face like it's not what I wanted.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit how I wanted. And then when she comes in for her final fitting, to stand and not be able to stop looking at herself in the mirror because she's so thrilled with how she looks,
Mm-hmm.
which probably 50% of that is me and 50% of that is what she sees.
Yeah.
You know, so I love what I do. And because I am my own boss, I can choose to work on something or not work on something.
Exactly.
And set my own hours.
Yes.
Like I'm not taking any new work again until January because
Mm-hmm.
I have some projects to work on for Christmas gifts for my grandchildren.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's pretty awesome. I mean, the whole everything. Like it seems you have a passion. You have a passion for your gratification is the fact that you made someone else feel good.
Yes.
And I think that's awesome. Because I can relate.
Yeah.
You know, I have I enjoy making other people feel good.
Yes.
And feel like the better version or the best version of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I said, that is a talent to be able to sew, and you using a sewing machine, like it's a talent. I just recently learned how to use the sewing machine. So I'm just now, getting my feet wet. I'm sure you have the skills to do some amazing things. I mean, wedding dresses. Wow.
Yeah.
What's something a hurdle that you've dealt with in your business that you've had to overcome or that you were able to overcome?
Well, one of the most recent ones, I spent 3 months immobile this summer because of surgery on my foot. And it was my right foot. And you can't sew when your foot's in a cast.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to basically shut my business down for 3 months.
Okay.
And, my husband and I, we are a family of faith, and God has never abandoned us. It's rare, if ever, things have gone the way we thought they should.
Mm-hmm.
But once I started sewing again, I had some people already lined up, wedding gowns that I had lined up before my surgery to come in. And I was in a walk-in boot standing here altering pinning wedding gowns. And it's, you just make it work.
Mm-hmm.
And as I have aged, health concerns make it more difficult. Some days, arthritis in my hands, which is part of the problem. Athletes have trouble with their knees and their feet. Seamstresses often have arthritis in their hands from using them a lot. We didn't know anybody except our son and his family when we moved here. So getting the word out has been a bit of a struggle, but I got invited to a women's networking group one time, and you need to talk to this person, you need to talk to that person, and then word of mouth. And then they were like, you need to have a Facebook page. Well, I don't want to have a Facebook page. You need to have a Facebook page for your business. So I created one. I don't post a lot of things because I don't have time. I am getting better about taking before and after pictures. This is what it looked like when I started. This is what it looked like when I finished. But that gives me a platform to interact with people on Facebook or sometimes Instagram, but people find me usually through word of mouth or Facebook that I do alterations on wedding gowns. And then there are people in the industry. I have a friend that owns Sharon's Bridal in Aiken, and she recommends me to her brides for alterations. And I recommend her to brides for wedding gowns and accessories to go with it. So women in business anymore, many of us just getting started out don't have money for advertising. So we have to find the best advertising is word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And so my reputation is my advertisement.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't ever want somebody to leave here upset with me because of the work I did and me not know it until I hear about it online. If you're not happy with my work, please don't leave with it. Let's fix it so that you're happy with it.
Right.
And I don't like to surprise people with the cost of something. With a wedding gown, I give them an estimate up front
Mm-hmm.
for it could cost this much to this much. If it's going to be more, I will talk to you before I do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can think it's going to be one way when you get inside and you find out the dress is put together an entirely different way.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have a question. Something just dawned on me.
Yes.
Okay, so you have been a business owner for 40 years now, basically. Not this particular business, but
I think, well, let's see, probably more like 25.
Okay, 25 years.
Right.
So in the last 25 years,
Mm-hmm.
times, like you said, times have changed as far as the way that you have to market.
Mm-hmm.
The transition, you said, was kind of difficult for you, transitioning to social media.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think that old marketing tactics still work today? Or do you think it is more so like, okay, you have no choice but to get more?
I think the basis of marketing is still the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's your reputation. And when you do a good job, people talk to other people about you.
Mm-hmm.
Used to be, there was one grocery store in town, there was a dentist, a doctor, and you went to the one in your town
Mm-hmm.
unless you had a bad experience with them.
Okay.
And then you would go further afield. Well,
Mm-hmm.
now we have lots of options. In my field anymore,
Mm-hmm.
we have very few options.
Yeah.
I have never lived in a place, and I've lived in a lot of different towns across the country, mainly in the Northeast. I never lived in a town that had so many storefronts that
Mm-hmm.
did alterations.
Mm-hmm.
That there are shop owners that's all they do is
Mm-hmm.
alterations. But many of them do not do bridal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And used to be stores that sold wedding gowns also had an in-house seamstress or several.
Yeah.
They don't anymore. The only one that does that I know of is David's Bridal,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if the one here even has one anymore.
Okay. I think, yeah, they do. But the last time I went in there, they did. That was like last year.
Your higher end
Mm-hmm.
shops that sell wedding gowns do not have in-house seamstresses.
Right. Yeah.
And so the bride has to find someone to alter their gown.
Mm-hmm.
And so who are they going to ask? They're going to ask their friend that just got married.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they're going to say, oh, I can't remember the girl's name, but she's on Facebook. It's something Lois.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's made to order, that kind of thing. They may not remember all of my name,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm working on that, but they will remember. They may not remember my name, but they will remember the experience and know that they had a good experience with me.
Mm-hmm.
At least that is my goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we are from Connecticut. We live in
This is Augusta.
Yeah. And we're here with family. So is that your motivation, your family? Like, what's your why? Like, besides money, we all need money.
Right.
What's your why? Like, what keeps you going? What keeps you motivated? Or is it just because, yeah, we got to hustle? Like, that's just what it is.
Probably. I don't know that I've really thought about what my motivation is. I do want people that encounter me to know that I'm a woman of integrity,
Mm-hmm.
that if I mess something up, I'm going to tell them,
Mm-hmm.
that if I tell them I'm going to have something ready at a certain time, I'm going to have it at that time, that I'm someone that they can be honest with if they don't like what I've done, that I'm not going to get upset with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I don't have 9, 10, 15 wedding gowns in the other room to be done. Right now there's 3 or 4, and then there's some other Mother of the Bride and that kind of stuff. but I don't take on more than I can do comfortably, more than I can know that is going to be my best work. And so I guess you would say my motivation is making sure that what I do is the best that I can do, and that the customer goes away from here feeling like they have been well taken care of.
Well, is there anything that you would like to say to empower the next seamstress, or the next person that decides they want to go into the alteration business? What's something that you would say to encourage them to keep going, to like try to pick up the sewing machine? Like,
Well, if you think you'd like to learn how to sew, it's not frightening. I mean, it is frightening. It's not hard to do if you can follow the steps. The hardest thing to do is measure yourself. So find somebody that can help you take your own measurements, because it's hard to measure your own self. That's just one of those challenges. And don't feel intimidated by taking on a project, but don't look at a ball gown and think, oh, I want to make a ball gown. That shouldn't be your first project. But I can remember in some schools, all you got to make was a pillowcase. Well, what fun is that?
Yeah.
If somebody takes sewing lessons from me, it's like, what would you like to make? Do you want to make a pair of shorts? Do you want to make a dress? And then teach them the basic skills. Once you learn the basic skills of construction, then you learn the skills of deconstruction. And then there are a lot of books. There are a lot more things available now, online classes that you can participate in to learn how to do alterations. But I've found the biggest teacher for me has been trial and error. So go to the thrift store, spend $25, $40, whatever, on whatever it is you want to become an expert in altering, and play with something that somebody doesn't want to wear, and take it apart and put it back together. Find somebody that's nearly that size and adjust it. And if you're playing with something that's not going to be worn down the aisle, then you can learn, oh, I can't do that, or I can do that. And to find somebody that will mentor you. People are like, don't you want to grow and have people working under you? No, I don't want that kind of pressure.
Yeah.
But I'd be happy to teach someone what I know if they want to learn how to do it. Just how to hem a pair of pants. Hemming a pair of trousers is different than hemming a pair of jeans. And so those are skills you can learn it from a book. And I know a lot of people are doing stuff on YouTube. And YouTube has a lot of good stuff, but sometimes you need a book.
Yeah.
Because it gives you exact measurements and diagrams and stuff that you can't pick up by watching something online. So don't be afraid of it. Sewing machines show up at thrift stores often because people are cleaning out their mother's house or their grandmother's house and they don't know what to do with them, so they donate them. You don't have to have a big fancy several $1,000 sewing machine to sew. Just a basic sewing machine that does forwards, backwards, and buttonholes, and you can probably do everything you'd need to do.
I want to learn how to embroider. I want to get an embroidery machine so I can learn how to embroider. And that's my next thing.
Well, I know how to do that a little bit, but that's a whole nother set of machines and threads, and the machine I currently have has a module that you can attach to do embroidery with, but I haven't had time to learn how to use it. This machine was gifted to me, and along with a lot of embroidery thread, which is a thread that has a long, the fibers in it are long and they're often shiny. But it's something you can learn how to do, but there's a huge cost up front to do embroidery. And again, there are a couple of 3 that I know of stores in Augusta that sell sewing machines, and they all have their own specialty for which brands they use, and they give lessons when you buy a machine from them. But it's most of sewing, whether it's embroidery or sewing your own clothes or mending or alterations, it's trial and error. You have to just try it. And the first things I embroidered on a machine were cloths to go in a bread basket because it didn't really matter how they looked.
So like next year in 2026, do you have a lot, like, what's your plans for your business for next year? Do you have a lot of openings available? You still trying to?
At this point, I think with wedding gowns, I am already booked through March.
Okay.
Because I like at least a 3-month window. And so we're looking at, January, February, March. And so, because it often takes several fittings to get a wedding gown to fit right. Now, if it's just a hem and a bustle, those I can usually do one fitting, they come back and they're done. And those I can usually have within a month. But something that's too big doesn't take as long to alter as something that's too small. So my tip to the brides, don't buy a dress that is too small. Don't buy a dress expecting to lose weight, because a dress can be made smaller. They cannot always be made bigger. And especially if there's a lot of lace or beadwork, the more embellishments a dress has, the more expensive it is to even hem. So people are like, well, I only paid this much for the dress. The price of the garment does not dictate the price of the alterations. Whether you paid $50 for it or $5,000 for it, the cost is still going to be the same to alter it.
I mean, and I'm even by just listening to what you just said, like, think about how much work goes into altering something. Y'all pay attention to, listen to what she just said. She said beads. Like, y'all got to bead. You can't sit down yourself and sit there and bead anything and have the patience for it to look like something when it's finished. I'm just saying, let's just be honest. So make sure you get on her books because she's booked and busy, and she is available though come April, May, June, if you get in there on time. So,
right. It's not too early. Once you've ordered your gown, it is not too early to get on my books for alterations. Because quite often by the time your dress comes in, I'm already booked for your wedding date.
See?
So they say get your wedding planner first. If you've already got your dress, you need to get somebody to do your alterations as well, because bridal specialists book up really fast.
And there's not one bride that does not need a type of alteration. She's going to need some type of alteration done to her dress.
And most brides don't know what they need. They just know, well, it's too long. And then you're like, well, do you want a bustle? What's a bustle? Well, when you have a train on your dress, you're either going to be dragging it around behind you all day, or you put it up with buttons and hooks so that it doesn't drag the ground and people don't step on it. And so there's a lot of things that you don't even think about when you pick out your favorite dress. If it has lace edging on the bottom, it's a nightmare to shorten. So you're going to pay for my nightmare.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you have to cut the lace off and move it up. And sometimes that can only be done by hand.
And I personally hate that people don't think about the work, the tedious, the work that it takes to, even like you said, people don't appreciate handmade clothes. For somebody to sit there and hand make something for you, we're talking, they have to drive to the store, even or order whatever. They have to take the time to get the materials. They get the materials. They have to.
It has to be cut out. It has to be sold. Yeah, there's a lot of steps to it.
There's work. There's hours and sometimes weeks worth of work. And this takes about away time out of their day. They're not working on a computer. These people are using their hands. So you have to appreciate the craft, and you're going to pay for other craft.
Right.
It costs money.
Right.
It costs money to get anything handmade. Don't think that anything handmade.
Stores like Walmart and Target ruined us for well-made clothing. We call it fast fashion. You pay very little for it, and it wears out fast. It's made from very poor quality fabrics because it's made by somebody probably in the Far East that gets paid in a week what you might make in half an hour. And it's a disposable, the tons of fabrics and clothing that are discarded into the landfill every day is mind-boggling. And that stuff, those fibers made from plastic do not break down.
I say it's a part of the system that was created for us to spend money.
Right.
Same with our furniture. Remember how furniture used to have good quality
And
last
appliances.
a lifetime?
Right.
Appliances used to have good quality and last a lifetime. And now everything is made to tear up and, like you said, get tossed.
It gets tossed, you know, or fashions change. Used to be either you knew how to sew or you had a seamstress that came in and spent a month in your home making the next season's clothes. They would take last year's stuff and redo it for maybe a younger daughter or a younger son, and take your old gowns and refashion them so you could wear them. But we're so used to wearing something, well, I'll just get it and wear to that wedding and then get rid of it. And, you know, case in point, my granddaughter is going to wear a dress sometime over the holiday season. I just finished restoring it, that I wore in a wedding 60 years ago. My mother kept the dress. It was worn one time. And through things I have learned doing wedding gowns, I was able to clean it and restore it. And it fits her beautifully, and she's going to wear it this Christmas season.
Make you cry when you wear it.
Yes.
Oh, I'm crying for you. So sweet.
It's really neat that. And people are like, I can't believe you still have it. Well, my mother saved it. My mother made it for me. And that's the only thing I still have that she made that hasn't been, you know, passed on or outgrown. And then when I tried it on my granddaughter and it fit, it's like, well, I'm going to see if I can get the stains out of it. And I did. And it's a pale green satin with a little lace over top. And she's going to, I have posted pictures on my Facebook page, which is made to order by Lois, of the transformation, what it looked like when I began and what it looks like now. And then when she wears it, I will have pictures. I'm hoping to find the pictures of me wearing it, but they may all still be in Connecticut. I have to dig out a photo box. But 60 years ago, this past summer, I wore the dress in a wedding for my uncle.
Miss Lois.
Yeah.
You don't look 60 years old. I'm sorry.
I have a 35-year-old son.
Okay.
That's very sweet of you, but I am over 60 years old.
Okay.
So, yes. Of course, my mother is 90 years old, and you can't tell it by looking at her either. I have good genes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. So, look, yeah. Look, y'all. Y'all's really tears like for me. No, I think that's sweet though. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said made to order
by Lois.
By Lois. Made to order by Lois is where you can find her on Facebook
and Instagram.
And do you have a website?
I do not.
Okay, and so you can find her on Made to Order by Lois. Message her, email her.
Yeah, my email is made to order by Lois at proton.me.
Okay, and get on them books. Get your wedding. You know you're looking for a seamstress here in the CSRA. She is available. She may be even available if you drop some coins to travel. So.
Yes, yeah, we can talk.
Yes. See? Drop the coins, y'all. Thank you so much, Miss Lois. Did you have anything else that you would like to say or show us or anything? It's on you?
No.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us at A Seat at the Table. Thank you for joining us at A Seat at the Table. And I'm happy, y'all. I'm in a good mood. So I look forward to talking to y'all next time. We're going to enjoy the rest of our day. Toodles.
I wanna be rich.